Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we have a lot to talk about and we have a lot to do. We're going to set up custom routing for our React.js app. So we use Next, and Next comes built in with its own routing, but we need to do a little bit more than that. And you'll see what I mean as we go through it. But we're going to need to set up our own server.js file. And we're going to start out with the markup that they give in the Next README file. So you'll be able to follow along if you check out the GitHub repo for Next.js. It'll be, I don't remember what section it's in, but I'll show you all in a minute. So first, let me tell you, I don't know if everyone caught my tweet yesterday, but I had a bunch of meetings, and one of the meetings, the last one of the day, was about this project that we're working on. So I just want to bring everybody up to speed on what was decided, what was said at the meeting. So I am hopefully soon. I was hoping I'd get it today, but it wasn't really realistic. But I will have access to the server where all the content for the current main site, franciscan.edu, is. So I should have access, and then my colleague Brian Sizemore, who recently became our full stack developer, will both have access. So we're going to check that out, see what's going on, because neither one of us really have any idea how things are structured. So that should give us a much better idea of what we're dealing with, and then we can go forward with the best way to handle that data. So that's in the works, and we're just waiting on our accounts. We're going to get, as I said, on the React side of things, we're going to get our routing set up, and then we'll set up some templates for the different page types that we'll have. So there'll only be a few different, let's say, like templates, if you were. So templates, and it should make things pretty simple if you were to look at the file structure. But there's going to be a lot of different combinations of content that will be possible. So the site to the user is going to look pretty big, but we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible in our file structure for our React project. The content management system, we'll try to keep it as simple as possible as well, but there's no way getting around the fact that there's going to be a ton of content. What's the other part? Oh, another big part of this that I'd like us all to be thinking about, because I'd like to work on it, and it's something I've never done before. So I was reading an article recently. I'll bring it up. Alright, so let me see. Apollo. I can't remember all the terminology. Okay, so Apollo, their dev blog. So Apollo it lets you work with GraphQL. So we worked with it before, I think on our last project. They're talking about what they call a gateway, GraphQL gateway. So it seems like for them this is like a pre-packaged kind of like product, right? I don't know that we'll actually use this or that it's ready for production yet, but I read the article a while ago, so I'm going a bit from memory here. So basically what it will do is it's going to sit between our content management system. So imagine, I should have drawn up a sketch of this. Hopefully y'all understand. Let me know if I'm making no sense here and I need to just show you a diagram. But basically, we have our content management system, our database over here. We have our users way over here, right? Our client, right? So the data is, right now, what we've been doing is the data goes from the content management system through GraphQL API that's on the content management system, right? So we've done the WordPress plugin, and it goes right to our React site. So it goes to our servers. We're running, Node on the servers, and then it goes directly to the user. What I want to do is to have a server in between, so which would be this GraphQL gateway, as it's called in this article from Apollo. So the gateway would stitch together different endpoints. So we could have the WordPress API, and then we could have data from a bunch of other different places. Bring them all together, and then piece them together on this gateway in whatever format we wanted, so that we could make one API call back to the gateway and request resources from multiple sources, right? But it'll all come together and be sent as if it were just from one source. And that gateway won't just stitch them together, it will also cache a lot of the calls as well. So that's what I'd like to do. I think it could simplify things a lot and really allow us to, let's say, for example, we're using one system to manage our events, and we want to show the events on our page. Well, we'll grab the data from the events through whatever API that this events thing comes with. Well, what if we switch to a different system? Potentially, we would have to go back and change how we're doing our API calls on the React side of things, right? Probably from our server.js file or something, depending on how we have it. We'll have to change it there. Well, what if instead we had that gateway? We don't have to change anything in our React apps. All we have to do is just make sure in the gateway that it's calling to the right place. I think we're adding another piece, but I think ultimately it would simplify things in that we wouldn't have to touch our React application, which will be reproduced, to be copied among multiple servers, and we'll be using load balancing. So it wouldn't be just changing it on one; it would be changing it on all those, in all those places. I don't know. Let me know what you all think. If you need more info, I guess I could link. Let me put the link to the article in the live chat now. And if you're watching this later on and you want the link as well, just put something in the comments, and then I'll put the link in. I'm not going to bother with it if nobody's interested, but just let me know. And you can read a little bit about how we want to do this. It's not necessary for the project to work. We've done it before, where it's worked without that. But I think it would be nice to have. So I'm not going to say it's not on the wish list. Wish list things are like stuff that probably is not going to happen unless we have a bunch of free time. When does that ever happen, right? So it's not at that level. I would say it's a little bit more important to me than wish list right now. So anyway, if anybody's interested in that, if you take a look at the article and think like, hey, I've done that before, or you want to learn more about it, let me know. I'd love to talk to you more about it and see if you all think that that's a good idea, or if I'm crazy and we don't need anything like that. All right. I'm talking a lot at the beginning of the session, but I haven't streamed for a long time, so I need to make sure we're all caught up. A couple of pull requests, just fixed some bugs and things, so you can check that out. I think there's 3 pull requests this morning, all from Harshit. So fix some bugs, updated packages, and updated the README and our contributing .md files. So you can take a look at those if you want. Just the last 3 that have been in there. I think it's like 25, 26, 27, something like that for the PR numbers. The last thing I want to say is this will be my last stream of the week. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the United States, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone that will be celebrating that. So I won't be streaming. Tomorrow I also have the next day off, which is Friday. And then on Sunday, I fly down to Nashville, and I have the November conference on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll fly back sometime on Wednesday, so I won't stream Wednesday either. So I won't be back until Thursday. So I don't know what the internet's going to be like at the November conference. It would be cool if I could do some sort of stream or video from there, but I can't guarantee anything. And until I see what the internet's like, maybe I might be able to pull off some sort of like Instagram live stream video. Those usually don't take. You don't need as good a connection to do something like that, it seems like. So I know a lot of you already follow me on Instagram, but if you're on there and you want to, maybe I'll do some like live shots of the conference. But whatever, whatever you all think might be interesting for me to show you at the conference, let me know, and I'll do that. Also, my talk is going to be about my live streams. So, my talk's pretty much, it's set, it's done, but if I'd like to get, if I talk really fast and I get done with my talk early, I think it would be cool to have some stories or like examples of cool things that have happened with the live coding sessions. So I've been going back through some of the live chats and the comments and trying to remember some of the cool things that have happened. And I'm just going to have kind of a list of them ready to go so that I can share those with everyone. So if you have anything memorable to say about these streams, or if there's something, especially something you haven't told me before, if they've impacted your life or your coding in any type of way, meaningful or trivial, please let me know. And then, like I said, maybe if I have time, I'll bring it up in my talk. And yeah, so that I thought that might be kind of cool. I thought people might like to hear like some actual stories of from you all from watching the stream. So anyway, enough with the talking. I could see when I talk, I usually lose viewers. So let's get to the coding. All right, we will. Whoops, let me switch to the right view here. Almost started coding without showing the code. Alright, so now you should be able to see the code. Let's see. Oh, okay, Blake is asking if we're using NextJS or Gatsby. We have switched to NextJS, so we're using Next as for the foreseeable future. We're using Next. Maybe. We have time to switch to something else. We got a couple of months for this project. We're still early on, so I'm not saying it's for sure 100% going to be Next, but it's looking like that right now. Below asks if I'm feeling better. I am feeling better. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm feeling a lot better. So I think maybe another day or two I'll be 100% back to normal, which is glad. I really didn't want to fly and have to give a talk at a conference if I was sick. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen now. That should be good. Alright, so first thing we need to do is make a server.js file, and let me I got too many folders open here. Alright, this will simplify things. Alright, so we want to add this new file, server.js, and I'm going to bring over, so right now I'm just going to copy and paste what's in the next docs. So just their example. We'll definitely want to edit this, but we can go through this now and see what's going on. So, okay, make sure syntax or styles requires compatible with the current version you're running. Okay, let's get rid of these. We don't need these comments anymore. The part that we're really going to edit a lot is going to be this part down here. It's been a few months since I've done this with Next, and as always I haven't really done that much with it before the stream, so so we're going to be going through this together. This tells the first question. Alright, so this actually looks a little bit different than I remember doing it before, but we should still be good. If you do want to follow along in the next documentation, the section is called Custom Server and Routing. So, actually, I think I found some different boilerplate code that may run better for us. Alright, so we have two. Alright, let me bring over this other code. So we're going to bring in some other code that's basically just going to do some of the other things for us that we want to do. It's going to speed things up quite a bit. So this is basically the same as we had before, but in addition, this has our caching. So our server-side render caching. This should look familiar if you remember how we did this on Project 1. I think it was Project 1 that we did this, right? So Next does server-side rendering, and in this case what we can do then is those pages, it'll keep the pages, the actual HTML, it'll save them, in this case for an hour, so that when a request comes in it doesn't have to redo everything, right? It's not re-rendering everything, it just sends it, which is really nice. It's going to be a lot faster, right? It doesn't have to make all the same API calls again to get the data. It's there. So you can see it takes, I mean, it's just not a lot of code, 70 lines total, but you know, it saves a lot of typing that we've gotten that example code here. Okay, and what it also has in here is we're using a few things that we didn't have before, right? So express, this LRU cache, right? So we're going to need to make sure that, let's double check what we need to bring in terms of packages. Yeah, so I think we will need to bring in express and the LRU cache. Let's double check our package JSON. Let's just see what we have. Yeah, and we don't have that. So first thing we need to do is bring that in. Oops, there it is. So let's go yarn add express and LRU cache. So I did on, what was it, Monday? I did that kind of like quiet live coding session on my own channel because I was still feeling pretty sick. Let me know what you all think about that. Is that worth it to do those occasionally? Was it really boring? Was it useful? I mean, I did try to explain things a little bit, so it wasn't completely quiet, but if you found it helpful, I could do some stuff like that for some of these other projects that I don't usually stream for this stream. Let me know. So I do work on some other things that they're not really big projects, so that might be a better format to live stream some of that. Okay, so we have these now, so this should work. And let's see. Okay, cool. Blake and Rook liked it. Said maybe do those in the morning. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe in the morning I can do that, and it's not really a lot of extra work for me. I don't make thumbnails for those videos. I just it's a lot less work to try to set it up, and I can just kind of start it and go. It's pretty easy. So I like to be a little bit more professional for the freeCodeCamp channel. On my own channel, I don't care as much. Okay. All right, here we go. Great. I was looking for this part. So I mentioned parameterized routing, and so there were two main things that I wanted from this custom server that we really needed. Otherwise it's like, why bother? We already have routing built into Next. But the two things are the server-side caching, which we just looked at, and I guess we really didn't explain it all, but we could go through that in just a minute. And then also this parameterized routing, which basically means we can go here and have, if we have a route that says, it'll be franciscan.edu/blog, then whatever comes after the blog will be the ID, and that will actually get passed to our component. We're not going to have a blog in here, but let's just pretend like we are. So in our pages file, that's where normally the routes would go, right? Every page would be its own route. It's still going to be like that. But if you go to the blog page, we'll grab that ID, and we'll be able to use that ID to pull in the right data. So think of like how we used the slugs in our that bulletin project to get the name of the post that we wanted from GraphQL. So we'll be able to pull that data and then fill the page in with that data. So the one page, the blog page, so the blog component will be able to be used for potentially hundreds of pages, depending on how much content we have, and we only need one component, which is awesome. So that's what we want, and we won't just have blogs. We'll have all different things. I've done this before where we've had another page for search, and depending on what came after that was essentially your search query. So there's a lot of different possibilities of what you could do. For now, we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to have a test component just to make sure it's working. I'll probably change it from blog because we're not going to have a blog. So I'll have to just give it a minute and think about something that we're likely to have. Maybe departments. No, not what are the not departments. Faculty. For sure. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have pages for each faculty member. With like a picture and a little bit of text. Maybe like links to some videos we have of them or some publications that they've written. Yeah, let's change that now then. So we're going to call this faculty. Alright, so we're going to have a component called faculty. It's going to be super basic for now, just to prove our point about what's going on. So quickly, and I totally forgot to start my timer. Let me do that now. So quickly, let's just go through. We've gone through this already, so we're fine. But basically, what will happen is, so we're rendering. For each page, so if we get nothing, just the slash, right, then that's obviously the home page. That's still going to render index.js, but it's going to render and cache. Right, so let's go through the flow of when a user comes in. So user goes to the home page, franciscan.edu. It calls render and cache, which I believe is down here. So when it calls render and cache, we're going to check to see if that key already exists. If we already have the key, then let's see, if we have key, so cache get return, it's going to log. So we'll be able to see we're logging, console logging cache hit, right? So it's just going to serve from the cache. If not, then it is actually going to render the page. So we're going to render to HTML, we're going to render that page, but then we're going to set the cache key and the HTML so that the next time we won't re-render. So that's it. It's pretty simple, to go through it all. That's our cache, right? We're going to have caching at different levels. We're going to run a CDN. There'll be caching there. We're probably going to do caching on the CMS side of things as well. So the goal is to make things as fast as possible for the user and to reduce the load on our servers as much as possible. And caching is going to be one way that we do that. Okay, now let's say a user goes to a page that's faculty slash, and I'll use my name, faculty slash, Jesse Weigel. They would be directed to, for the user's perspective, they would be directed to that page. They'd see my picture and lots of awesome stuff about me. But in the background, what's happening is these query params are going to be used to grab the right data, right, from our APIs, and then that page will either be rendered if it's not already in the cache, or it will just be served right from the cache. So that's about it. Otherwise, if the page is not the home page and it's not the faculty page, if it's anything else, it's just going to get handled like a normal page. So it'll fall back to, is it a page in here? If not, do we have an error page set up? I don't know if we do or not. I'm not sure if we have an error page set up. So basically, if it's not a valid route, it'll just have a 404 error page. We'll try to make it look as nice as possible, or it'll just fall back on this routing where whatever's in the pages folder will be there. Notice though, it does not have the render and cache set up, so I'll have to see. We may end up trying to set this up though. I think I did set it up that it would render in cache on all the other routes as well. So I'll have to check on that. I'll check back to a previous project and see if we set that up or not. Okay, so that's it. That's how our server is going to work. We'll probably end up adding more to it as things go on. Anything that should trigger an immediate change. Okay. So let me make sure I have that saved, and let's make a faculty component. So let's grab, let's just grab page.js, page.js, and let's make a new file. We'll call this faculty .js. So now we're going to have faculty.js. And what we're going to do is, let's just print out the ID. So how do we, let me see. Is it this props? I'm trying to think how we're setting these. ID. Actually, let me just save this for now, and then I'll just use React Inspector to figure out. I can't remember how we grab the ID for right now. So, all right, React next components. All right, so this should work. We don't have crazy errors right now, so that's a good sign. Faculty / Jesse, what? Should work. Faculty. That's weird. Why is it not working? Let's see. I may have to go back and check to see what we did in project 1. Yeah, let me bring up, I already have GitHub open on my other screen, so let me check on project 1 for a second. I really need to upload an icon for our FUS Marcom GitHub organization. It still just has the default that it came with when I started it. All right, so that was the CI React repo. So if anybody wants to follow along, that's where I'm at. So I need to check out the pages, and our single event page should work. I'll pull this over on this screen. Let me make this bigger. So how did we bring this in before? Oh, now I remember. Okay, so we were bringing in our we were bringing it in this way. Okay, so we're using get initial props, which lets us make API calls and server or client side API calls, and that's where we brought in our query ID. Okay. All right, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so let's see. let's just bring. How am I going to pull this in otherwise? Alright, let me check my time. Okay. Actually, did I? Yeah, I'm going to stick with this timer. I know I started a bit late, but let me just stick with that. Alright, let me check the docs for this. Just quickly. Because I don't want to go through all of this with API calls right now. Alright, so alright, so I'm checking in the NextJS repo under examples, the server-side caching example, and I'm going to check how they did their blog component. Okay, good. The example basically does exactly what I'm trying to do here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy their example, and let's see, components now, sticky nav. Whoops, no, I don't want that. Where's our, there we go. Link layout. Alright, let's do this. We'll bring in some of the markup, and let's change this div to layout. Okay, this props ID. Alright, so here's what we're getting. So we're still going to use our get initial props. We're just not making any calls. We're just going to return this. So anything that's returned from get initial props goes into the props for that component. So we can access it at this props.id. So what will happen, I mean, I'm just going to leave this text here, even though we know it's not a blog post. But what will happen then is we should be able to see whatever we type in after faculty should show up here. And let's make sure export default, close. I think I did not grab the right. I didn't grab enough semicolons here. There we go. There we go. Now I have the right amount. Let's see. I need to take out. Let's see. This, and we're already exporting here. Let's go. Sorry, I have too many windows open and I'm trying to find the example code I was using. Alright, I think I found it. Oops. Alright, here's what I'm confused about. How am I going to incorporate this with root into this page? Let's see. All right, it should work. Yeah, that should work like that. All right, we'll give it a shot. Okay, already an improvement here, so that's good. Now let's try out. No, 404. Oh, you know what? Let's restart the server. And actually, I'm probably going to need to change. I'm going to need to change our how we start this. I think I'm forgetting an important part of this. So yeah, we're still getting the 404 because we're not. So we're not changing. Let's see. So we need to bring in. We need to change a little bit about how we're doing our starting everything up. So for our dev, instead of running next, we're going to run node server.js. So that's going to start our server. Then from our server, then next is going to start. At some point, next is going to do its thing, right? We're bringing it in up here, and there we go. So our app is next. Okay. Yeah, so that's where next is going to come into play. So we're not just going to start it automatically. It's going to start through the through our server.js. Oops, let's go to our package.json again. We also have to change our start command. So it's almost the same as our dev command now, but what we need is to set the environment to production. So we have that node env production, and then node server.js. So back at our server.js file, see, it checks to make sure what the environment is, right? So there's certain things you don't really want to do in a development environment that you would want to do in production. So one of these things is I don't really care about caching in our development environment. So I think what I've done before, and so if it's not already built into this example, which I'll have to double check, what we'll do is we can disable the caching if dev is true. Okay, and I believe that's all we'll need to do for this to work. So let me make sure I save this. I'm going to save that, and then now we will stop this and run yarn dev again, and it should look a bit different. There we go. So there we go. So we can see we have a cache hit now. So this is my Jesse blog post, right? So my freeCodeCamp blog post. We can type in anything you want there. So it works. Yay! All right. Alright, so since we got to that point and it works, I'm just going to start our short break, which I can't believe I got it to work that fast. I mean, to be honest with you, I expect me to mess up more than I did. Alright, so that's cool. It did work. So let me take my short break now. I'll go through the live chat and see what you all are saying and try to answer any questions you have. And then let's decide if we want to do something else, or if we want to call it a day, or what. And I do have a question for you as well. Let me ask this question. I know I asked some questions earlier, but so to reiterate the one question, if you have anything cool about this stream, some good impact it's had on your coding or your life or anything like that, or a good experience you had interacting with people in the stream or with me, please let me know, and I might incorporate it into my talk at the November conference. The second question I have is so there's a recruiter on LinkedIn that's trying to get me for this React contract job. So it's like 6 months to do this React project. I don't have a lot of details, but has anybody ever gotten any recruiting stuff from VDart Incorporated? I don't know if they're legit or not. So let me know if you ever gotten anything from VDart. Is it a good deal or what? Because I wouldn't mind taking on another project now, especially, it's Christmas time. It'd be cool to have a little extra money, buy some stuff for the kids. So if it's legit, maybe I'll say yes. I did get an official rate offer via email, so I'm okay with the hourly rate. Anyway, so let's see. Alright, so hey everybody. There's a lot of people saying hi at the beginning. Oh, cool. Satya said, I actually started learning React after watching your live sessions. That's really cool. You know what? I've had a few people that have said that, and I mean, React's already open source. But if it wasn't, and it was a paid product, I would definitely try to get a commission for everybody that's starting to learn it. I officially make no money off of these live streams, so any endorsements I give, it's my own, and I'm not getting paid for it. Although if someone wants me to endorse their product for money, let me know, because I might be all right with that. Let's see. Rook says, have you used font ligatures, and what do you think of them? Okay, font ligatures. That sounds familiar to me, but could you explain a little bit more? Maybe jog my memory, because I need a little bit more info. My answer's probably going to be, I don't know enough about that to even answer that question, but it's possible that I'm just forgetting. So anyway, let me know, Rook. Rook also asks, does Next.js get mixed with React Router? I think you can use React Router with Next. I think I actually looked that up once. I can't remember what I found on it. Actually, no. Maybe you can't. And yeah, don't take this as for sure, but I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, the answer was no, you don't use Next and React Router together. But like I said, I don't remember for sure what answer I found, and maybe there's a way. But I have never used React Router and Next together at the same time. Hey, Ines here. Ines says, hey. Also asks if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not back to normal yet, but I'm so much better than I was. But so thank you for asking. AJEC says, yo Jesse, what is the freeCodeCamp beta page called so I can get all new practice exercises? Oh, and Blake posted the link in there. Okay, so hopefully that link worked for you. Oh shoot, Blake reminded me about the ngrok. Oh no. Alright, let me start up ngrok right now. So sorry. I even had it. I had it on the screen ready. Alright, let's get this. I can't believe I forgot that. I was explaining to people in the meeting about this project yesterday what ngrok was and how we use it. And then I just forgot. Alright, cool. The link's in the live chat now. So sorry about that. Really, though, I mean, it would have been weird to run it because we had to restart the servers and everything a few times, so we would have only had to restart once if I had known what I was doing and hadn't forgotten to change the startup script. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to check out that beta version of freeCodeCamp. I checked it out a long time ago, but I'm sure it's come so far since then. And Blake even mentions an alpha version of freeCodeCamp's lesson. So I need to do that. I've always wanted to go through and finish my freeCodeCamp stuff. I've just been too busy to do it. Like skill-wise, there's no doubt I could make it through the rest of the front end portion. I mean, we do more complicated things here on the stream. It'd be cool just to get the certificate, and I could probably make it through a lot of the other stuff as well. We'd be going into some uncharted territory for me. But now I'm thinking, should I try or should I just wait and do the new curriculum? So I don't know. I think I might wait. We'll see. Although my wife's doing the freeCodeCamp curriculum, like the current curriculum right now, if she passes me up, I might have to start doing it again because I can't have her asking me for help and me not knowing what to do, right? She's actually going pretty fast through it, so she just finished her, she was working on her weather app, so if any of you have done that project, you'll probably remember. I know my timer went off, but I only have a few more things in the live chat, so let me just get through them, and then we'll figure out what we're doing next. Let's see. Okay, Rook, I see that you're giving me the answer to my issue here with our component about setting our our export class and everything. So sorry I didn't look over there. I asked about it and then didn't look at the live chat. So you're entirely right. Let's see. Andrew says, "Hey Jesse, I always see the videos after live streams. Cool seeing it live." Awesome. I'm glad that you're here live with us. Feel free to, say, comment or ask questions in the live chat. Let's see. Oh, cool. Rook said, also started to learn React after watching your live streams. It's great. Awesome. Let's see. Ingusmat says, afternoon, Jesse. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. And oh, cool. Blake asked how my wife is, Rebecca. She's doing all right. Some of you, if you've been watching the live stream, you might know she's been having a lot of health issues over the last year. So she was just at the doctor's yesterday, and I got to go pick up some medicine for her after this. So I don't know. Hopefully the doctors are on the right track and she'll be back to normal. But it's been tough. It's been a tough year for my wife. So anyway, I appreciate you asking about her. But she really is liking coding. And she's getting excited about it. And, she actually met with... So, the woman who started and is in charge of, I think, Women Can Code Pittsburgh. I think that's what it's called. My wife went up to Pittsburgh to meet with her today. So, they had that meeting this morning. I haven't talked to her about it, but that's cool. So, my wife's really happy about that. She's getting involved in... with coding and with some local coding groups. So anyway, I'm happy for her. I'm really excited, and so and I'm hopeful about. She's going to be on some new medication. So a couple of the one medication I'm going to pick up today, and there's another medication I don't think will be ready until next week, and then she has to have some more testing done as well. So it's a lot, but I have good health insurance, so I'm really happy for that. That's good. The university I work for does provide good health insurance compared with other universities that are our size. It's definitely better than most. So anyway, so thank you, everybody for your concern, and so I really appreciate that. And who knows, maybe she'll be doing her own project someday, and I can give you guys a link to her videos. Blake says you retweet her on Twitter, I think. Yeah, I do. I retweet her. So she doesn't really have as many followers on Twitter built up, so I'm trying to get her stuff out there and kind of give her some encouragement when she does coding stuff and puts it on Twitter. So and that's how she met she's been meeting and talking with a lot of other women who code on Twitter. So it's been good for her. Let's see, happy day. Rob says happy day before Turkey Day. Yeah. Cool. Ingusmat says, are you liking NextJS better than vanilla React/Create React app? Okay, so that's a really good question. So React, I started, the first time I ever tried to use React, I did use Create React app, and that was pretty early on. I didn't like it as much then. Then I built a couple of sites with NextJS, and I love Next. It was really cool. There were some issues that I found like somewhat annoying, but a lot of them, as I worked with it, they updated Next and took care of those issues. So it was kind of nice that they updated frequently. Then I went back and used Create React App on some things here on the stream, and then as well in my React Nano Degree courses, and I really liked it. So now going back to Next, it's a little weird for me. I'm having to like get used to the Next way of doing things again. So I like both, but for different things. So I'll say if I need server-side rendering, I prefer Next. But if I don't need to worry about server-side rendering, I prefer Create React App. I prefer that. Also pairing that with React Router and Redux if necessary. I actually like that better. So it just depends on the use case. But they're both really great. I think if you wanted to start out, either way would be fine. They're both pretty easy to use. But Create React App seems, like I said, if you don't need server-side rendering, to me it's just a little bit more simple. And I like working with React Router. And Redux. Redux was a pain to learn, but it's really nice once you kind of get the hang of it. And I'm no expert in Redux, but I know enough to build things that work with it, and I really like it. Although you probably could use Redux with Next, so I don't want to make it seem like you can't use Redux with Next. I just have never done it. Okay. John Hansen says, Jesse got me going on React, learning a lot. Thanks, Jesse. You're welcome. I didn't realize I had so many people learning React. That's really cool. Rob says, sorry to hear about your wife. Hope she gets well soon. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. Dimitar says, hi, Jesse. I'm learning Node.js. I was into Java Spring Boot, but now I am working and learning with Node.js. Do you think that I will get on well with that? Cheers. Oh, well, I mean, I think Node is pretty easy to learn. It has been for me, and I haven't done a lot with Node. I've set up basic servers, file upload things, handling forms. I'm trying to think. Some really kind of basic stuff. But I don't think it's too hard. So, I haven't really worked with you or seen your work, but I think you ought to do fine if you have experience with with other frameworks or other languages, right? So saying like Java Spring Boot, right? I think you'll be fine with Node. It's just going to be, concepts should be somewhat similar. Syntax will be a little bit different, but no doubt, I think anybody that's does some decent learning in any other type of programming would be fine to pick up Node and with a little work, become good with it. Let's see. Ingusmet says, Redux confuses me. It confused me so much at first. So much. Yeah. Actually, maybe I'll try to do it today. I really want to do the video review of the Udacity React Nano Degree. Yeah. And I want to explain about my experience learning React learning Redux in that course. So, just a little preview of it. There are 3 projects you have to do. The first one does not involve Redux. The second one does. and the third one, Redux, is optional. The second project took so much longer than either of the other projects because I had to learn Redux and use it. And I ended up using Redux in the third project, but because I had already learned it, it was so easy to implement. But I found Project 2 to be so much harder than Project 3. Project 3 was with React Native. So I don't know how they can, if they meant it to be like that, or if there's some way they can kind of change things up. But normally you would expect the last project to be the most difficult, but that was not the case for me. And I'm not sure if other people had a similar experience, but that was kind of the only surprising thing for me, was that the final project just seemed a lot easier than the Redux project. Let's see. Okay, so I've gotten to the bottom of the live chat. So at this point, let's see, there's not a whole lot of viewers still around. We haven't been streaming for that long, so I'm open to doing some more. But basically we've completed everything that I wanted to do for this stream. And we've had a decent question and answer period. Let me commit these. I'm going to commit them while we're on the stream, all these changes, so I don't forget. And then if it'll be a nice example of how to commit your changes with Git. Let's do a Git status. And then I think after that, I'm just going to finish up the stream, even though it's a bit shorter of a video than normal. Oops, Git status. Okay, so let's see, we've modified package.json yarn lock, which is expected. We've added this faculty.js, and we've added server.js, so this is exactly as expected. So let's go ahead and do a git add and then a dot for all, and then we'll do a git commit, and then we'll use an M flag for message, commit message, and let's say add custom server. Yeah, that's a decent commit message, I guess. So it's going to run all the tests now. Hopefully I didn't do things that would break. Am I breaking the test? What a link is defined but never used. Oh, okay. That's an easy one to fix. Let's just remove that. And I am using all the other stuff. Okay. Let's try it again. I'm a little worried about if it'll pass all the tests with the server set up differently. I'm not sure though, because Harshit did all of the tests, so cool, it looks like it works, right? And we did not write a test for our faculty page, so that's something that we will need to do. You notice we only tested index and page 2. So we'll need a test for that. If anybody likes writing tests, take a shot at it. Otherwise, maybe we'll do it in a future stream. And git push origin. So we're gonna, when we git push, we've already set up our GitHub repo in an earlier stream. So when we push, it's going to our repo, and that's our Franciscan React repo. The link to that is in the description if you're interested in checking it out. All right. So I'm going to check the live chat just one more time, see if there's any more questions. Vasudev asks, hey, will there be any project on Angular 2 using MongoDB? I don't know. So there's someone else on the freeCodeCamp channel is currently doing an Angular videos. So they did one video. I don't know how many other videos are going to come out. So I don't know what's planned for that. So I can't answer that. In terms of Mongo, we are using our last project. Was it project 4? I think we're using Mongo for that. Is that the one? Yeah, I think that's the one where we're doing some user. We have some user credentials and things, and we may be working more with Mongo in the future, in future streams as well. I can't say for sure though. I'm definitely not working with Angular anytime soon. Not because I don't like Angular, it's just generally for most of the projects here where I work, we use React. It wouldn't really make much sense to throw in an Angular project. It'd just be a lot more to learn and maintain. Ingusmet says are using Mocha. Let's see. Let me show the package JSON here, just so you can see how we have all our tests going. So we actually have Chai and Mocha, and we're using Jest. So we have unit tests and we have end-to-end tests. So we have a lot going on here, which is awesome. So here's kind of our dependencies right now, and you can check this out in the repo as well yourself. And then here's how we have our tests set up. So we have them separated out, and then you could also just run test and it'll do both of them. And then it's mixed into our pre-commit. So when you go to commit, it runs all the tests as well. Yeah, so if anybody's interested, and if you like, if you use Mocha or Jest, or whatever we're using, and you want to, contribute, I'd appreciate that. But I need to get to learn these more myself. So if I need to write some tests, that'll probably be good for me as well. Okay, cool. One last thing I think I saw, and then we'll wrap things up. John Hansen says, all the best at Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thanks, John. To you too as well. Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone here who will be celebrating. And to those who aren't, have a great week. You probably won't hear back from me, and probably won't have a live stream, here working on this project till next Thursday, assuming that I don't have a million things to do when I get back. I think I'll be able to stream Thursday afternoon. So I'll see you then. Otherwise, I'll try to put some stuff up maybe on Instagram and Twitter from the conference from November. I don't think my talk's going to be live streamed. I'm hoping that it will be recorded and at least put up on YouTube at some point. But if not, then maybe I'll turn it into my own YouTube video at some point, and then everyone can see it in case you can't come to the conference. All right. I'm always searching for the button to stop streaming. It's a big red button. You think it'd be easier for me to find. Anyway, have a great week, y'all. Thank you so much for all your help, and happy Thanksgiving.